A Course in Miracles. Lesson 49. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. It is quite possible to listen to God's voice all through the day without interrupting your regular activities in any way. The part of your mind in which truth abides is in constant communication with God, whether you are aware of it or not. It is the other part of your mind that functions in the world and obeys the world's laws. It is this part that is constantly distracted, disorganized, and highly uncertain. The part that is listening to the voice for God is calm, always at rest, and wholly certain. It is really the only part there is. The other part is a wild illusion, frantic and distraught, but without reality of any kind. Try today not to listen to it. Try to identify with the part of your mind where stillness and peace reign forever. Try to hear God's voice call to you lovingly, reminding you that your Creator has not forgotten His Son. We will need at least 4 5-minute practice periods today, and more if possible. We will try actually to hear God's voice, reminding you of Him and of yourself. We will approach this happiest and holiest of thoughts with confidence, knowing that in doing so, we are joining our will with the will of God. He wants you to hear His voice. He gave it to you to be heard. Listen in deep silence. Be very still and open your mind. Go past all the raucous shrieks and sick imaginings that cover your real thoughts and obscure your eternal link with God. Sink deep into the peace that waits for you beyond the frantic, riotous thoughts and sights and sounds of this insane world. You do not live here. We are trying to reach your real home. We are trying to reach the place where you are truly welcome. We are trying to reach God. Do not forget to repeat today's idea very frequently. Do so with your eyes open when necessary, but closed when possible. And be sure to sit quietly and repeat the idea for today whenever you can, closing your eyes on the world and realizing that you are inviting God's voice to speak to you. Lesson 49. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. There is a radio playing in the house all day long. It has never once turned off. The signal is clean, steady, and unwavering. But in the kitchen, someone left a blender running. In the living room, the television is shouting headlines. Upstairs, a vacuum roars across the floor. And then someone says, "Why can't I hear the music?" Lesson 49 is not telling anyone to manufacture a signal. It is not asking for a better antenna. It is not demanding a mystical performance. It is quietly revealing that the broadcast never stopped. God's voice is not a sentence in English. It is not an audible tone. It is not a commentary layered over experience. It is the condition of certainty underneath experience. It is the quiet knowing that does not argue. It is the calm that does not need proof. It is the orientation of the mind toward wholeness. The part of the mind in constant communication is not sending messages back and forth like emails. It is like the ocean touching every wave at once. The wave does not have to call the ocean. It is never not in contact. Awareness may flicker, but connection does not. The distracted part of the mind is fascinated with surfaces. It measures. It compares. It predicts. It replays. It builds tiny courtrooms in thought and argues cases that never existed. That is what disorganized means. It chases 10 narratives at once. It tries to secure itself through outcomes. That is what uncertain means. It depends on conditions, and conditions shift. The calm part does not depend on conditions. When the text says, "always at rest," it does not mean sleepy or passive. It means unmoved at the level of identity. A lighthouse does not panic when the storm hits the shore. It does not negotiate with the waves. it simply shines. That shining is what wholly certain feels like. Not loud, not dramatic, just unwavering. The other part is called a wild illusion because it is movement without foundation. It is like a movie projected onto fog. Characters shout, plots twist, but there is no solid screen. Frantic and distraught describes the tempo. Without reality describes the substance. It feels intense because attention fuels it. It lacks reality because it has no source in truth. When the lesson says to go past the raucous shrieks and sick imaginings, it is describing internal noise. Catastrophizing, self-accusation, rehearsed grievances, private fantasies of control. These obscure the eternal link, not by breaking it, but by covering it. Like clouds over the sun. The sun does not dim, vision does. You do not live here does not mean the body vanishes. It means identity is misplaced. A traveler who mistakes a train station for home will suffer every departure. The platform was never the destination. The world of shifting forms is a platform. Useful, temporary, not the address of the self. Hearing God's voice all through the day does not require sitting cross-legged in perfect stillness. It requires willingness to notice the difference between tension and peace, between argument and quiet knowing, between urgency and steadiness. Eyes may be open, hands may be working, conversations may continue. The signal is not interrupted by activity. It is only obscured by identification. Closing the eyes during practice is like dimming the room to see a candle more clearly. It is a training wheel, not a rule carved in stone. If practice periods are missed, nothing collapses. The broadcast does not punish, but repetition strengthens recognition. Integration is not earned through rigid compliance. It is allowed through consistent willingness. If there is a sense of not fully integrating, it is rarely because the voice is absent. It is usually because the blender is loud. The mind is still negotiating with storms, still rehearsing defenses, still searching for confirmation in outcomes. The lesson is not demanding perfection. It is inviting trust. It is saying there is a current running beneath every moment. Not dramatic, not theatrical, but constant. To invite God's voice is not to beg for something new. It is to relax the grip on what is false. To pause mid-argument internally and choose not to continue. To notice that beneath the surge of thought, there is already a floor of stillness. Imagine walking through a crowded city wearing noise-cancelling headphones. The traffic still moves, the crowds still surge, but inside, there is a different soundscape. That inner steadiness is what the lesson is pointing toward. The voice is not outside calling from a distant sky. It is the remembering of what has never been severed. It is the certainty that identity was never fractured. It is the quiet fact of being held in something that does not fluctuate. Nothing is being done wrong. There is only the gradual recognition that the signal has always been on, and the gentle choice, again and again, to lower the volume of the blender.